Well, I didn't really drink in high school, maybe my last semester, because I played sports all the way through. My wife and I, we had our daughter, and then we ended up getting married. So, I mean, we were poor. I couldn't even afford alcohol. I didn't drink for a long time. And I had a DUI in 2009, I think, and it was like right at the limit. But when my mom got sick, she wasn't supposed to drink. So she would hide bottles so that no one would know she would drink. But my dad, he was trying to be supportive, so he didn't want alcohol in the house, so he would hide the bottles. But they were the exact same bottles, and they were just hiding them from each other. If I finished my shift early, he would give me money to go so he could drink before I got back. I never detoxed. So I kept drinking not to get sick, which in turn got me sick. He said he'd ordered a liver panel, and then all of a sudden he said, okay, you have this. And I was like, oh boy. I didn't think I had any symptoms. After watching all your videos, I'm like, oh shoot, yep, I had that. My mother had it, and she drank for 5 years heavily with it. She would drink and tell me about her cirrhosis. It's like it's plain fate. I mean, there's no bigger deterrent than death to stay sober, right? So I don't even think of it as a journey of sobriety. It's just like, all right, if I do, I die.
Hey everybody, this is Will Gordon from the Willpower Podcast, briefly coming on before this next excellent episode to remind you all that did you know that 76%, you heard that right, 76% of you that follow my content regularly have not subscribed to my channel yet, and I'm really wondering why that is. So if you could, the easiest and freest way to help support my show is to hit that subscribe button on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all of it. Like it, share it, send it to people that you think it might help. Because that's what I'm doing here. I've been through it. I lost my liver. I lost my kidney. I had such a severe alcohol addiction that I feel you, okay? I understand what you're going through. And I'm really hoping that these stories are helping. So if you want to hear these stories keep coming, then please hit that subscribe button. It'll be the best decision that you'll ever make. Thank you so much for supporting me, and I really hope you enjoyed this next episode. I heard it was a pretty good one. Take care, everybody.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Willpower Podcast. Today, I'm very thankful and very thrilled to have another excellent episode of a guest. And his name is Joel Boats. Joel Boats, like a boat in the ocean. And his story to me was really fascinating. There's a lot of through lines between our story, between Joel's story and my story. We both worked in liquor stores. We both had cirrhosis. We both were in a place of denial. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but that's what I was at least experiencing when I got my first cirrhosis. Well,
100%.
Yeah, I got my first diagnosis of alcoholic hepatitis, and I was saying to Joel off air, like how I was like telling people, like, no, I don't have cirrhosis. I have hepatitis of the liver. No, I don't have cirrhosis. I have hepatitis of the liver. Like as if that matters, right? Like the damage is being done. Yes, like hepatitis is not as bad, but it's like only 2 clinks away, from being full blown cirrhosis. And once it's cirrhosis, that's kind of it, right? Yeah. So Joel, if you could you give us a little bit of background on who you are and what brought you to the point of cirrhosis?
Yeah, just kind of normal stories. I mean, I didn't really drink in high school, maybe my last semester, because I played sports all the way through. And then college obviously was a lot of binge drinking for sure. But then my wife and I, we had our daughter, and then we ended up getting married. So, I mean, we were poor. I couldn't even afford alcohol, and I really wasn't going to have alcohol over, any food for my family or anything like that. So I didn't drink for a long time. And I won't say a long time, but like daily as far as where it got to be. Yeah, so I mean, I had a DUI in 2009, I think. And it was like right at the limit. And I'm just like, oh.
That was right when I got mine too.
Yeah,
exactly the same date. I was in college and I was moving a car, so I wouldn't get a parking ticket. Granted, still DUI, you can't do that.
Well, exactly right. I mean, I was coming home from, I play amateur baseball. So I was coming home from a game and like, I was turning down shots. I'm like, no, I have to drive. And so I thought I was good, and I wasn't. I was over, and it's like, oh, you know what? That's fine. And I had no problem. So with that, you have to do the 6-month sobriety. Well, you're required or whatever. But I mean, I actually did do the 6 months, and it wasn't very difficult at all. And so, but see, when you do it that way, that kind of gets you stuck, because then it gives you this full sense of control over it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so then you think you can always just come back, and sometimes you can, and sometimes you can't. Do you know what I mean?
Totally. You're always in the belief system of like, oh, I got this under control. Like, I don't need to worry about it just yet. Like everyone gets at least one of these things. It's not that big of a deal. You rationalize it, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. So let's talk about your drinking history. What was that like?
That's kind of was it. And then, like I said, and once I started, getting a better job, and I had money, and it was, I don't know, it wasn't taking anything away from anybody, so it was just all right, cool. Nothing's being hurt. I made sure everything got done before everything, and the big thing was work. Never drink at work. That's the one I knew that was going to be the end if you ever start that. My dad, even just a hugest drunk, and that was his rule, just never, not at work, not before work,
Mm-hmm.
After work, that's your time, whatever. And I was like, okay, cool. It's like a Dexter code, right? Is that weird?
That was my rule too. Like, because I was a teacher, so it'd be such like a moral, just it would be just detrimental to like the kids. Like I could never do it, even though I was hungover all the time. So that was also detrimental to the kids.
Well, that's a part of mine is I never got hungover.
Wait.
like ever. Yeah. And I was just like, so I knew I was kind of playing with fire a little bit in the back of my mind, but I was going for a physical, and like, if they find it, I'll quit. Not a big deal. And they just never found it.
How long ago was this? How long ago was this?
Probably 2022.
Okay, so it's relatively.
Yeah, I'm only 10 months sober right now.
Yeah, there's no only. That's amazing. 10 months sober after living a life of drinking all the time is very, very courageous. Good for you.
Well, yeah, and then like I said before, I never detoxed.
So was that because you just didn't have to, or something of a personal choice?
No, I walked out of there, and I thought it was weird at the time. And then I was watching a lot of your shows and a lot of the other people's shows, and they talk about the DTs and the withdrawals and all that other stuff that comes with it. And I was trying to rack my brain, and I met with my doctor, and I was like, I said, all these people are going through this. I'm like, I don't remember detox. He goes, oh yeah, you never did. I'm like, I could have just quit anytime I wanted, and I would have. So I kept drinking not to get sick, which in turn got me sick in the ridiculous paradox there is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, when you were like, I never had to get detox, was that like almost a sense of pride thing for you?
It was the opposite, because now I'm upset at myself, because like I said, I could have quit anytime I wanted to, and I wasn't going to get sick, but I thought I was. So I just, I would never quit, but I would just go baseline to like, as far as the daily goes, just to like 1 or 2, or probably more than most people really drink. But I mean, it was low for where I was. Yeah.
Now, tell me about that experience of going into the doctors and finding out that you have cirrhosis at the age of, how old are you?
Right now I'm 48. So I think it was probably around 45-ish. It was hanging around. So I don't know, right? Because I don't know how long I had it, because
right. Who knows how long
that's another reason why I want to do this, because like they said, it is a silent killer. I mean, even because you don't know. I mean, I know that I didn't think I had any symptoms after watching all your videos. I'm like, oh shoot, yep, I had that. And there's some things that only I had that some of the people would have, and I didn't have a lot of them. But like the shoulder one, did you ever have that one?
Like, but it was just like kind of like clicky. You're in pain.
No, it's just pain, and it's just like, and you couldn't, like, it needed to be stretched out, but it would never be stretched out. I learned that on the liver disease, LD. I think he goes by in public.
LD was one of the first episodes I ever did. He's such a great guy.
Yeah. So he's the only one that I heard that had that shoulder thing, and so I was like, oh, yep, that happened. And I mean, you just kind of go through all the stuff, and you're like, so there were signs, you didn't see them, but there was, stuff that, I mean, I just went.
There's, oh my God, there's so many signs that we as humans just think it as like just getting older, or just like this is just what happens to the body after you get to like the halfway mark of your life. I know for personal experiences, like so I got Lyme disease back in 2016. That really, that really kicked everything off, because my health just after that started to diminish significantly, to the point where I had to leave my job as a teacher and just stay put and get like the treatments. And it did go away, but I couldn't move. I couldn't walk down the stairs. I had physical, I was crying like pain, because I was just like, I can't believe I have Lyme disease. And then the next thing I know, I'm still boozing it up and things are getting worse. I'm getting iron infusions because my hemoglobin's going so low. And I don't even ever mention that on the channel before, but that was definitely the precursor towards like the many complications further down the line. And then especially when alcohol was introduced at a very high level, that's when it really got bad. So they tell you have cirrhosis. How did they tell you that you had cirrhosis?
A letter.
A letter.
Well, it was a letter, but then obviously then there's a follow-up, and so I'm still in disbelief. It's a false positive. I'm 100% concerned. I mean, obvious. I know that that's what it is. So I mean, but in the back of my mind, I'm still like tapering down, and this one you'll know if you're a counselor at all. Like a lot of my friends are going like California sober, where they just switch to THC, right?
Yeah.
And that was actually a plan that I had, but the plan was that I don't really like THC that much. I mean, it helped me through this process a little bit. And I wasn't smoking. I had like gummies because we start selling them at the liquor store. It's legal now. So it solved all my problems at the time because I had no appetite.
It's legal where? Which state is legal to sell weed gummies?
Minnesota.
Oh, I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah, it's a weird law, and it kind of got back. Like some guy screwed up, and it sort of got legalized, and so everybody's just running with it. Like
probably when the government saw how much they were just printing money like on with that crazy tax rate, they probably just like, okay, it's legal now everywhere, which is like where I would get absolutely petrified and be in anxiety like shock, because if I had like a hit of a joint when I was in like high school or something and the cops were around, like you go to jail, it was so scary. And now it's like there's people blowing vape hits of whatever in my face as I'm going in to get a coffee. I'm like, brother, jeez. This is this. Yeah.
No, I mean, well, and so it's not too much different than your Lyme disease, right? Because then it becomes self-medication at that point, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a part. And I don't want to speak for everybody, and I'm not qualified. That's something for you to do. But for me, once you start self-medicating, I think you're in a bad spot.
Yeah, yeah. So you get the diagnosis through a letter, which is so beyond inexcusable when you're dealing with something with that much gravity and consequences.
Well, I agree, but I'm going to give him a pass on this because the letter said, well, it looked in my notes, and maybe I wasn't paying attention, but he was ordering a liver panel is where it said, and I didn't know any of this. He just basically whatever, and so he said he ordered a liver panel, and then all of a sudden he said, okay, you have this. And it's like, oh boy. And so I went around and I actually switched doctors because I'm like, this is not even true, right?
The mind of an alcoholic.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, I should have stuck with that first doctor. He was actually really good. And I just didn't give him a chance because the communication was just, I mean, I really needed someone to tell me some stuff, and he wasn't giving me anything.
Yeah. What was going through your mind, Joel, when you first heard the word cirrhosis? Like, did it have an impact immediately, or was it kind of like, oh, I think you can beat that thing? Like, how did you process that?
Well, I know the stigma that it does come off as, all right, it's over. But I knew better because one thing, my mother had it, and she drank for 5 years heavily with it. She would drink and tell me about her cirrhosis, like it's plain face. And I'm just like, oh, okay. So she's the only one I knew that actually had it. And obviously what I'm finding out now is just because people don't come out, there's a lot of shame involved. So nobody comes out, which doesn't help anybody if we're all just hiding, right? So yeah, I'm sorry. Where was I?
Your mother were talking about cirrhosis in front of you. I mean, that's actually very unique. You don't hear that quite often.
Well, right, and because she's my family. If I wasn't family, there's no way anyone would tell me. I would tell anybody. You know what I mean?
What would she describe it like? to you, like
Well,
back in the
she's
day?
just like, oh, I have this. Well, she always talked about her pancreatitis and all this other stuff, which is another thing because my pancreas is 100% perfect. Like, I don't know what's going on. But yeah, and here's the thing that you notice, and it was always in the back of my mind way before I was even diagnosed or anything. So you know those pharmaceutical ads that they run like during football and stuff like that, and like nobody listens to them or anything, and all the disclaimers on the bottom. Like the second, I think it's like second or last one, it always says don't take if you have cirrhosis. It's in like all the ads, and I'm like, how many people have cirrhosis that they have to put this in there? So I'm like,
I think about that too.
so I'm like, oh my God, you know, there's a lot of people like I just need information if I'm going to, you know, take this on. And that's kind of what I was really aggressive in my research. So I mean, in shows like yours, this gives me hope. Like, what is there? 2 people that I saw between all the shows that actually reversed their cirrhosis.
Yes,
I didn't
one of them was on my show the other day.
Yeah.
He used like some kind of holistic approach with like some B12 shots or
Yeah,
something
that's
like that.
Jacob.
Jacob.
That's Jacob.
Fascinating guy, and he, in a roundabout way, I kind of had to get it out of him. What was the reasoning behind why he was so reluctant to get a liver transplant, and then next thing I know, I'm being bombarded by a whole team of people who are like, "Don't do it. It's a monopoly. You know, it's just doctors trying to get millions of dollars right away from your insurance because it's not that complex of a procedure." And then next thing I know, I'm like down like a rabbit hole on Reddit, like trying to like, are they right? Are they right? But then there's no way. Like I had a conversation with my doctor and I was talking to them. I'm like, well, in Europe, maybe in some people's cases where they had a bilirubin of like 28, 29, 30, there are signs of that. Like it actually happened to me in 2020 when I got detoxed. I did 3.5 months and all my levels went right back to like kind of where they needed to go. So there is some truth to that. I actually went through it myself, but at the point where I was when I was trying to kill myself with my drinking, and that was the end all be all goal. There was no holistic approach to any of this anymore. It was gone. It was like you either are going to be dead in a week or you're going to, you know, a miracle will just, you know, fly in your lap. And that miracle was someone passing away and a deceased stoner's soul coming into my body. So, so I'm on team whatever works. I never ever want to pigeonhole any person's point of view. I always think it's really important to consult a medical professional first. Honestly, I always advocate for that. So, but something that you just mentioned way back that I thought was actually really interesting, and it was the hiding alcohol in your mother and father both having AUD tendencies, and then them both doing the same thing, like making bottles, and then hiding them, and then forgetting each other where they put their spots. I just found that like just like an interesting dynamic. Could you go into that a little bit more?
Yeah, I mean, this was no secret. My brother and I, we actually made a bet, like who was gonna drink themselves to death first. And it sounds callous, but at the same time, it was just inevitable. Like we both saw it, and he's like, "Well, mom's going first." I'm like, "No, dad retires in 2 months." I said, without work, he's gonna just drink all day. He's gonna go first. Easiest $5 I ever made.
Yeah. So he went much earlier.
Well, he had falls. He didn't ever had cirrhosis, and he never had anything like that. It's a comorbidity on the death certificate because it was a fall that actually got him. But yeah, my mom just had full blown. No, it is what it is. He was actually suffering from early onset dementia as well, which is undiagnosed, but it was very obvious because his father had Alzheimer's too. So that's always a thing that we are always cognizant of. So, yeah. All right. Then the original question.
So you're in your mother.
Oh, no, they were hiding bottles, right?
Hiding bottles.
So they were bottle hiders. They always were. But when my mom got sick, she wasn't supposed to drink, so she would hide bottles so that no one would know she would drink. But my dad's not. He was trying to be supportive, so he didn't want alcohol in the house, so he would hide the bottles. But they were the exact same bottles, and they were just hiding them from each other. So, like, when we cleaned out the house, we found at least 8, and those are the handles or the half gallons, you know, in various forms of
measurements.
Yeah, exactly. It's like was like, okay.
That's
So, and I actually had a former boss, and he was a bottle hider too. And I didn't realize at that time because it was my college job, and I was driving courier for like lenses for like glasses and stuff. And so we'd have those boxes that are like this, and I was just doing everything. And so I was the garbage, and I'm like, why is this taped? If we're just gonna throw it away, and I started shaking it, I'm like, uh-oh. Cut it open, like, that's what I thought. And then I threw it away. I never actually told him that I knew, but it was obvious. And
no,
both my mother and this old boss, this is a trick. This is next level. So if you show up unannounced and they're drinking, or they're drinking out of, this, and nobody knows what it is. Like my mom was just like, here's $20. Go to the store. You want some beer? Go here, go. And then he would, like, I had our work van, I washed like every day of the week, because if I got there early, if I finished my shift early, he would give me money to go so he could drink before I got back. You know what I mean? You ever heard of that one? That one I've seen quite a bit.
Yeah, just giving you a couple of bucks in this, getting the quick fix.
Yeah, it's like, here, go to the store. It didn't mean the liquor store. It could have been anywhere. So you just need to go out of here because she needs to get everything in order. You know what I mean? Well, she's not drinking.
Yeah. Oh man, that's so sad though. At the same time, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But it looks sad, but we almost saw it almost like, I guess, a cartoon. It's like, we're not going to be like these people. It's impossible. And then here I am.
And then here you are.
So embarrassing.
Did you find yourself becoming a person of, is it like nature and nurture? This conversation comes up over and over, and there's never going to be an end to it. But I wonder, in your personal experience and your parents who had alcohol use disorder issues themselves, I wonder how much do you believe that this is was like an inevitable thing biologically, or how much do you think it was your own decision?
100% my own decision. It looks like it on paper. It looks like, parents are alcoholics and we're always around it. So, that's nature and nurture right there. And I don't blame either one. It's a personal thing that I did.
Yeah. I think I'm in actually both camps with you, Joel. I think there's a lot of the biological predispositions that I can definitely know aided my alcoholism. But at the same time, I know that I was actively engaged in this behavior, and I know what I was thinking, and I know when I would go to the stores, and I know how much money I would have to need in my account. Like, those are all disposition like thought processes. So like I knew exactly like what every time I was doing it. That being said, at the very end of it, like the last 3 years of my drinking, when I was really trying to end my life because of it, I didn't know anymore. It was just like as if like you would go, like, you needed a pen, here's a pen. Like, that's how it felt. It was like, oh, where's my glasses? There's my glasses. There's my booze. Like, and I knew where it was at all times throughout the day. There was never a time I wasn't hungover. That's like you said in the very beginning of the episode, which is a really interesting part that I'm really glad you brought up. Not feeling hungover because you're always trying to stay ahead of it, right? There were times in my drinking career where that would happen when I couldn't get access to it because I would be with my wife. There wouldn't be an opportunity to get in the car, like fly away quick, come back, do all the errands and stuff that we had to do that weekend, and there was no time. And I would get in like the level of like anxiety and like irateness that would come out of my soul and being, like, every single second that I wasn't able to go get a big thing of Smirnoff and put into Gatorade or Poland Spring bottles. It was like debilitating. I couldn't do anything. So I'm curious, like, what was like that for you?
Not a lot. I could get like the shakes, but I would only get them on the weekends because that's when I would binge drink. And so a lot of people, I know the answer is to just plow right through it, right hair of the dog. Well, what I would do if I had like even remotely shakes, I would just have one and then I would continue on my day. And then, at the end of the day, when it's drinking time, it's just business as usual. You know what I mean?
So Joel, you mentioned off air to me that you are you work at a liquor store.
I do.
And you have cirrhosis.
Correct.
And that is a very juxtaposition when it comes to we would normally see someone who has alcohol issues pick as a career. So cirrhosis while working at a liquor store. What was that oh shit moment when the doctor dropped that bomb, and one thought that kept looping in your head?
Yeah, I mean, it was just like, it's not real, and things like that. As far as the liquor store, it wasn't something that I chose. It was a part-time job, and it was. That's a whole nother issue. But no, I mean, it didn't bother me. I mean, through my stuff, it's a lot of the people that work there don't drink. that's something. I mean, or a lot. A lot of them will just have wine or something like that, or the bourbon collectors. But yeah, it's really not as big. I mean, I understand it looks psychotic from a recovery standpoint as far as sobriety, right? Like, I'm going right into the hornet's nest. I don't see it that way. It's really empowering to actually be able to like move the bottles and control the alcohol for once, instead of it controlling you.
That's a great point. Yeah.
And then,
yeah.
Go ahead.
So yeah, I worked at a liquor store too. I worked at a wine cellar for two winters back in 2012 and 13. And I worked at a yacht club as a bartender for 3 summers, so down the Cape. And I got paid very well for those bartending jobs, but I got paid absolutely nothing for the wine cellar ones because I was younger and I just stacked shelves pretty much. But I did see the ugliness of it. Like, I did see the ugliness of alcoholism at a very young age. Like, the same people coming in at the same time. I'm 22 at the time. This is when I'm partying at the highest level that I could.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking of it as like, oh man, that guy's the man. Like, oh cool he is. He's like, he must have a million friends. Look how much booze he's getting, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, and then now in hindsight, I'm just thinking back at that poor man who would look disheveled, tired. It'd be the first stop on the way home from a very long day, it looked like. And then you get the same bottle every single day, a big giant
it's fine.
Lagavulin, which is good whiskey. That's a good good scotch. And I was like, this guy's getting like really high in scotch. He must be doing well. And yet he's with me every single day at 4:35 p.m. Like, it was, and he was, I felt so bad for this guy. I really did, because he was nice, and he always tipped me and stuff like that. But in hindsight, looking back at that man, like, I saw a lot of myself with that person. Because then I remember going when I was in the thick of it, I was going all the time to the liquor store. I would see the same faces, and then I would be like getting fatter, and I was like my papery skin, and I would put on like a hat and like COVID mask. It's just like right around COVID. So,
yep.
But then I'd run into people regardless, and they would see me and how I looked, and I can only imagine what was going through their heads. So do you have that same kind of thing happen to you? Like, would you see the same kind of people, the same kind of circumstances, the same kind of behaviors and habitual motives and things like that?
Every single day. I mean, and what's scary is like, you'll go through and because this is a big store, and so there's 4 registers, whatever. So I see my line, but I see everybody else's line too. And it's just like, okay, all right. So, it starts off innocent enough. Like I think I put it in the email, like, it would just be some guy just getting a 6-pack after work on a Friday night, and that's what he's going to drink that weekend. I think we all kind of started that way, and it's like, I don't remember those days at all. You know what I mean? When you could get a 6-pack through a weekend? No way.
Night. Beers to me were a waste of money. They were just a waste of money. They just made me feel like I was putting on calories for no reason. I was getting no buzz off of it whatsoever. The prices were going up on beers, whereas, my old faithful Smirnoff, just the cheapest crap there is.
No,
$20 bottle. Well, no, there's definitely stuff worse. Mm-hmm. And this is like a sweet medium.
Yeah,
one tier down from like the really, whatever. But yeah, I would just I would get that bottle that was squishy, so I could squish it under seats in my car. Craziness. That's insane. Like, you have bottles, and I would forget about the bottles. Like, I got to go to the liquor store. Then I would go into my normal hiding spot, and there it would be. I'm like, oh, I have 2 now. It's like a double. It's like winning the bingo game or whatever that thing is at Chuck E. Cheese or something. But it's a worse kind of bingo game. I don't want to win that game.
Right, exactly.
I don't want to win that game. And And my wife would find those spots eventually, and that was just a recipe for disaster.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So-
You brought up wasting money. Well, how many people buy, like, it actually, I just had one the other day. It was Smirnoff, but they buy them in, you can get the big bottle for the 20, like you said, but like they'll buy different assorted sizes all the way down to the little ones. And it's like, that's way more than that's almost double. And you'd get more alcohol with the big one, right? And I talked to a guy there, and he's like, "Well, they don't trust themselves, so they do this." Like, no, that just because it's in a different bottle, that doesn't mean anything. That means they're hiding something. He's like, "Ooh, that could be." I'm like, "There's no reason. I mean, monetarily, it makes absolutely zero sense." And so, and then,
well, they didn't want to go through the work that I was going through. I was like a science teacher, like doing experiments, and like, like if I could just fill this Gatorade to this level, and and I had like a beaker over here. Like I was like an experiment doing like a science teacher doing experiments in the backseat of my car, making sure that like no one was catching eye of me of exactly what I was doing. But who's ever thinking that this person in their mid 30s is in the back of the car on like a 10:30 a.m. like mixing together vodka with Gatorade,
yep,
and like sugar-free Red Bull and like all this crap.
Yeah, no, I put that in the email too, and because you are an admitted bottle hider, but I don't work during the lunch hour, but I've heard 11 till 1 is very popular for the little airline bottles, the shooters, and
the nips.
And these people are dressed for work, and they're probably going back.
Oh God, I would call it the mad dash, the 10:30, because in Boston here it's like 10. Nothing can really open before 10:30.
Mm-hmm.
But there are some exceptions, which I knew where all those were too. But
right.
by the way, but typically 10:30 a.m. was the when the Kentucky Derby like horn went off.
Heck yeah.
And I would sit in my car and I'm like, I'm not going to be the first one in. Like, I don't want that to be like the thing that I'm associated with, even though I was just right behind all these men jumping in women. But that bell would ring, and then I would see a plunge, like quick, as fast as I can get into the liquor store as fast as possible and out as fast as possible, and no eye contact. Like that was a big part of it. No eye contact. You didn't see me here, you didn't know me, kind of situation. Which is so like they almost knew that what they were doing was obviously wrong. I mean, he was drinking at 10:30 on a Tuesday morning, and you probably shouldn't be doing that, right?
Right.
But these people are struggling. I've been there. I understand it. Like I totally get it.
I get there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I remember leaving a teaching interview, and going like, I think I have like an hour, and I went to the store so I could like get back to base level, and then I went in there and actually crushed the interview and got that job, and then I lost that job because of the drinking. So
you're in a paradox too, right?
It's a paradox. It's like, hey, you go. There's the universe showing me multiple lessons all at once.
Yeah,
wow,
exactly.
It's really difficult for people to change. That's first and foremost. And number two is if you don't have the circumstances, if something big in your life that you care about doesn't interfere with whatever you're doing with your life. Mine was, I want to be with my wife. I still had a lot of love to give. I wanted to be full of peace and happiness and continue on with my life. I was 35 at the time. I was like, I want more out of life. I know what happened. I was a depressant person, and I had depressant poured on top of me just daily.
Yep.
And then I got physiologically hooked, and then that's like game's over after that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
the physiologically, that's the shakes. But I did have one that was really, really bad, and that was it was a combination of unemployment and my mother passing away like at the same time, and that was just like, I was to the point where I was like, thought I was going to fall over in church. And I'm just like, okay, we can't do that. So then,
What do you mean you're going to fall over in church? What do you mean?
Like my equilibrium was off. You
were all like tremors and like the neuropathy and stuff.
Well, I don't know. It was like I said, like my dad, like he had falls, from this. And I'm just like, oh shit, I'm going to just become like him. Like, no, I'm doing that. So, went back to the drawing board, weaned it all the way back down, not to zero, but to manageable, to where I can always find my way home, right? That's kind of was my plan. And I think the plan was actually pretty solid, but it's when you start making those plans, like, you ever heard that people like, oh, okay, well, I only drink during football season, and it's like, okay, Well, now football's Thursday, right? So that's Thursday. Friday's still Friday. Saturday's still Saturday. Or college football, which I love. That one got me in trouble. And then NFL Sunday, NFL Monday. That's already 5 days right there that you gave yourself permission to drink. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And those big beer ads they're in cahoots with this. The NFL, they're in cahoots with the NFL. Like the more ads they can sell, the more drinkers they can get on board, the more money's, dollar signs they start seeing.
Yeah. Absolutely. And so it was, I don't know. It was all just one big bargain at the end of it, because once you get into that stage, and like I said, I'm not speaking from anybody. From me, I think that's when I got in trouble, when I started the bargaining, right?
Yeah, rationalizing it, making it like make sense for you. I mean, that's what I did my whole career as a drinker. I always rationalized it, like, well, at least I'm not like Timmy over here, or man, like my dad. Look at, he gets like shit faced from 6 to 10:30. Like at least I started at like 7. Like it's like you're grasping at straws of your alcoholism, just so you don't feel as shitty as the person that you're comparing yourself to.
And that's a huge one. And that's one thing I want someone to take away from this, is the caveat is you don't compare yourself to other people, because it's not the same. Because my mother, she didn't have cirrhosis till she was 65. She drank way more than I did still. And my dad never got it, and he drinks way more than both of us. And it's like, you don't judge it like this. Just go to the doctor, get your liver panel done, and then let you and your
CMP. Yeah, your complete blood count, and then CMP, your complete blood panel. Yeah, CBC.
Yeah. I mean, but some of the stuff that I'm going through,
CMP.
Mine is easy breezy, and I don't want anyone to look at me and go, well, if it's just that, then I don't care. No, it's terrible. Just
get into that. So talk about that. Like, I mean, living with liver cirrhosis, I did it, so I understand like the lethargicness, like the lethargy, and you're getting. I was getting more swollen, but I was eating like nothing. I couldn't sleep. I was peeing like every 10 times a night because I still had booze in me, and the ascites and ammonia buildup. But there was so much to it. Like, tell me about your story.
Yeah,
what's it like having it?
Yeah, it's all that. I mean, I still went through all the stuff. The ascites are absolutely awful, and I didn't know I had them. Like, how much did you have pulled out of you? How much fluid?
On average, probably 4, 5, 6 liters.
So you're on average. It was, I think, 6, whatever the max is that you can do in one sitting. I had just that much. So that was outpatient, and it was, actually, I didn't mind that procedure at all. I mean,
with the paracentesis, that one?
Yeah, and I wasn't even supposed to have a paracentesis, because my doctor, who's the expert, he wanted me to do diuretics and do it that way. But my other doctor, and this is where it gets confusing when you get multiple doctors, and so she forgot to place that prescription. So now I'm just walking around, and not to get graphic, but let's just say everything got, big in my midsection around, it's just like I could barely walk, and it was awful. And then once I got that paracentesis, I felt like $1 million. $1
million. I would like scream at like down the hall. I'm like, I'm scheduled for a paracentesis today, please. Because it would be so bad. It would be up to like 4, 5, liters. And you physically, your body, it's like I actually posted that on one of my things yesterday. Your body is just like constantly expanding your skin. It's like, why is he expanding? And then your gut and your legs and your feet and your ankles are just like, and they're cracking. It's like, you start bleeding from the cracking, and then you're itchy because of all the ammonia buildup. Oh my God, man, what a nightmare. So tell me about your cirrhosis today. Like, is it manageable? Are you able to like hold on a job? Like, what's it like?
Well, actually, I was working up until probably March, like the end of March, early April. And that's a whole nother area. I told him I was like very sick. I didn't say cirrhosis because actually I didn't know, because my regular doctor says cirrhosis. My expert said we don't even know it's that yet. So I was like, okay, I'm really sick. I'm like, what do you want to do? And they wouldn't give me disability. So I was like, what? So then they ended up like I was missing so much work from like appointments and stuff. But otherwise, I was working full time. I never missed a shift at the liquor store ever throughout the whole process. Wasn't pleasant, but we got it done. And yeah, I mean, right now, I met with my expert doctor who's like on the board of like the U of M at University of Minnesota. He's like some really renowned expert, writes books and all this other stuff. So I trust him. And he's like, we had to do 6 months, right? You have to do the 6 months sober. And he, I like this guy because he's a straight shooter. And he just looks at me and he's like, okay, well, you need to stay sober. And I was like, well, that's not going to be a problem. And he's like, you could probably get out of this pretty easy. I mean, not great, but you could. I mean, so right now, and then I went back after 3 months and he's like, looks good. Like, okay. So basically I'm on my medicine and don't drink.
That's you want lactulose, like all that horrible medicine where
I do have
all the ammonia buildup?
I take that as needed because I do get backed up as far as number twos go. So that's when I
mean more for your brain, like what's going on. Like for me, it was like if I didn't take it, I had the cops called on me and the fire department showed up because I didn't know like where I was. And I was running up and down the stairs and my parents didn't know what to do. So for me, if I wasn't taking the lactulose, that was like a really scary factor. So that's good news. That's good news, Joel, because
I have zero dietary restrictions. Like
there you
go. Like, well, because I was supposed to be on the low sodium diet, which I did, but that was just for the diuretic. But then I never got the diuretic, so that was actually a total waste. So then I did the paracentesis and I was good. But I was underweight, which they said is very rare. Like they have diets and they're like, is going to give it to me. I'm just like, they're like, oh, you're underweight. Never mind. And they wouldn't even bother. Like I had 3 different doctors. I'd have 3 different diets. And I'm like, I don't know which ones to follow. It's like, and it just gets confusing when it gets more doctors. Like I went 4 days without taking any medicine. And I was like, started feeling a little weird. And all of a sudden, like, I was like, I actually was so cold and I just wanted to go get a coffee. So I get in my car and I go and I was like, oh, it ran out of gas. And I was like, oh, what do I do? And I just ran home because it was just a couple blocks from my house. And I left my car there and I was like, I'll just come get it in the morning. Well, the cop showed up and I didn't know this because, like I said, I was already out of it. But they already showed up and my wife's trying to explain it. He wasn't drunk. He didn't take his medicines. And it's like, okay, so then that's just a whole mess. And yeah, but otherwise, I mean, I'm in a good spot right now. I think, and shows like yours gives me hope. Like if anyone's going to like beat this, like reverse it, I think I have a good shot. And even if I don't, I have to be optimistic about it. Right.
Absolutely. I mean, your mindset is like such a ginormous factor in overcoming something like any kind of ailing disorder that you're dealing with. Like, so like, for instance, like when I did 3.5 months sober and I told you all my numbers went right back into the green and I was so thrilled and I was like, oh, but it also made it like, I made light of it. I'm like, oh, that was so easy. That wasn't that hard to just do 3.5 months sober. I mean, it was because alcohol was everywhere and like I wasn't buying into it yet. And I was going to AA meetings and I was resentful and like it was like a mutiny of things working against me, but it worked. Like it did work. All of a sudden I lost weight. I was eating better. My wife and I were fighting less, all the things that would constitute like keep doing this, Will. But when financial things came up, when big things came up like that, my wife and I were arguing about, and then I heard a podcast because I'm a huge hockey nut, and it was that goddamn Pink Whitney, and it said it didn't have too much of an alcohol concentration. And I'm like, okay, I'm almost 3.5, 4 months sober. I'm like, let me just see if I can do this. Like, let me just see. It's got a small alcohol concentration. I bought the bottle. I was like all sneaky about it, brought it in, didn't even drink it right away, kept it in the closet for 3 days under clothes and socks and stuff. And then that inevitable fight of financial reasons came up again. And then I took one sip and it was like when they say you fall off the wagon, like it was like the worst fall I broke every bone in my body. Like my jaw got twisted this way. Like my relation, I mean, it was that bad of a fall, then metaphorically speaking, of course. But it was like I never had alcohol before, and now I'm going full tilt. Like it's crazy. It's crazy.
Mhm.
That's where my brain went with that. Before we jump off, and thank you again, Joel, for coming on, man. Like, it's just, I love talking to people like yourself who are super clued into this and just coming from it from a super relatable angle, which was, I think, a very helpful component to this episode. So thank you so much for coming on.
Oh yeah, well, I said I think I conveyed that in the email. Like yours, I watch all the shows, but I handpicked yours because I like your interview style. Our stories are very relatable as professionals, and and you have cirrhosis, right? I mean, I can go on the other sobriety shows and they're gonna blast me for my sobriety journey, right? And so I just want to know cirrhosis stuff.
Yeah. So, Joel, is there anything you want to say before we jump off?
Get your liver panels. Don't think you're safe if you go in for a physical. You need a panel. If you're drinking anything, that's
100%.
the main one that I really want to convey. And the other one is we've already touched on is don't compare yourself to other people because it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, comparing yourself to somebody else, especially in the realm of addiction, sobriety, alcoholism, you're not going to get any good from, even if they're doing well and you're not doing well. You're doing well and they're not. There's a dissonance there, and you don't want to be a part of that because it's not going to help anyone in the long run. So, Joel, thanks again for coming on the show. I so appreciate your time, and I know that it's not easy to find out like an hour and a half out of your day on a Monday to do something like this. So I really appreciate it. Joel, if people are trying to want to reach out, ask you a question, where can they locate you?
Well, my email is joelboats11@gmail, and my Instagram, I think it's just my name. I actually don't check it that much, but I will start now. I don't have a fancy handle or moniker or anything like that, and I'm not selling anything. I'm not promoting anything. I just really want to get my message out, and if I can help one person, it's worth it for me.
But again, full disclosure, if you are experiencing weight loss, gain, jaundice of the eyes, skin, please go get your CMP and your CBC panels done immediately, so you know where you're at. Honestly, that's just, it's not like they're going to put you in jail and like drunk jail and like throw you. No. It's just for your own health, okay, and safety. So thank you again, guys, for watching another episode of the Willpower Podcast. I hope you learned a lot in this one, and be on the lookout for many, many more episodes coming soon. Thanks again, Joel.
See you guys.